Hey, Doug. There we go.
Doug, Muff, Ryan.
Hey, Mark.
Got the COVID haircut going on.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
My hair hasn't been this long since I was in high school. It's because I went to military school in college. So anyway.
Greetings, Chuff, and someone named C. Paris, and Doug, and Jim Russell, Rick, and Nicholas are online. Kevin Humphrey, welcome. Oh, Freon. How many nicknames you got, Freon?
I don't know. That's my sister's computer. She gave it to me.
Okay. So, have they opened up Denver, or when is it? This Friday?
The 8th.
The 8th?
Thursday.
So,
Thursday.
third, what a random day.
That's a Friday, so I guess we'll find out if they don't extend it.
I don't
Same
think
with
they're gonna
Jeff's.
extend it.
I hope not. Same with Jefferson County. We're on the 8th as well.
They're not.
Well-
Denver will not extend it. They're going to just enforce masks in public.
I read it was like $1,000 fine, or up to $1,000 fine or something.
No.
Damn.
Did we ever
What's
get
what
any law
were
books?
the they were ordered and they don't know where they're at.
Okay, who's they?
The law books.
No, but USA Rugby doesn't know, World Rugby doesn't know, who doesn't know?
USA Rugby was trying to track it down where they were. They thought they were ordered, but there's been such a turnover in the office. They were tracking it down.
So
What
it's
is
unlikely we'll get law books this year. And it's not like we need them because there is no rugby, so
Well, got to be a little more optimistic, Mark.
no.
Not that you have any type of reputation for being slightly pessimistic.
No. I'm a realist.
Yeah, I think Mark's a realist, but I like to read the law book and see what little inconsistencies and where the hell is it really.
Jim, what'd you score on the world's hardest law exam?
I didn't take it.
Why not?
Well, actually, I was going to do it the next day and forgot. So I'll take it.
So,
You're
Mark,
happy.
hey, we never finished our conversation about that law exam, Mark. Why don't
Yeah.
you throw it out and that we'll distribute it after the meeting and have everyone take it between now and next meeting, and we'll do a gift card for the winner.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Mike Lawrenson took it, scored decent score, like 38%. And then he took it again and scored worse, and then took it again and scored worse. I'll try and find it.
But yeah, we ought to send it out. We'll have a little contest on that, Mark. If you wouldn't mind announcing it during your session, your portion of the session.
I think I have it bookmarked in my emails if you want me to like re-forward it to you or something.
I'm just looking it up real quick.
Why are you Sundance?
Who?
Why am I not Sundance?
Well, I'm just curious.
You could Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid?
Yeah, I know.
Sundance. Does
That used
that
to be
upset you, Tim?
The nicknames for Tom Coburn and Bob Warner.
Sundance
change
1,
my
2,
name
and
to you next
3.
time, Jim.
Yeah.
You could give the winner of the contest the boys high school 15 state championship.
Yeah.
Chris, I didn't quite recognize you there.
Yeah, I noticed. What did you do
It looks
yourself?
good.
good looking haircut and whatever that rest of that is on your lip.
Rick Goldhammer, look at you with your background.
Anybody know who's dead on the ground there?
I gotta find Rick Goldhammer. Doug's got wine in his background. I don't see Rick Goldhammer sing.
Is that
That's the realtor guy. What's his name? Used to rough.
Chris Rattay?
Chris Rattay?
RugbyRealtor.com.
Does he live in Bulgaria now or something?
Hungary. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that was in Cuba. By the time I got over there, there was like 15 paramedics working on him.
What was it? Do you have a heart attack?
I believe he played rugby.
He tried to play
That
rugby.
was his mistake. He said, yes, I'll go in, and then that's what happened. I believe it was friendly fire, too. He got pancaked by one of our own props. So.
Someone had a heart attack on the field at Aspen.
That was that was during that one of the English refs' first games, and it really fucked him up. Like he was messed up for the weekend.
Do you remember? Do you remember who it was?
I don't know who the player was. I don't know who the player was. He played in the next year.
Was it Chris Olsen, maybe?
The referee?
No, the player.
Oh man, who knows?
Mark's not interested.
Players are inconsequential.
You need all the players. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we get going? And I'm sure we'll have some more people join as we go. I want to thank everyone taking time out
from our busy schedules.
Yes, yes. So sorry we're not doing this in person. Look forward to doing that again sometime in the near future. So I want to just give you an update on COVID-19, talk about the USA Rugby bankruptcy and some of the activities going on around that, and then some of the other things that the executive committee's been working on during this hiatus. And then I'll turn it over to Mark, or Dan's going to talk about our new coaching form that we have, some of the coaching activities, and then Mark's going to give us update on goal setting and competencies that are associated with the coaching and advancement, and then some other updates as well. So that's kind of the agenda today. But as usual, we will answer questions. And so please feel free to ask those questions. You're also welcome to raise your hand. If you do comment into the chat section, that's fine. Paul's going to monitor the chat session, and he'll then interrupt with any questions as well as that come up in the chat session also. So anyway, we're up to 20 folks, and so let's go ahead and get started. I thought what I would do is give a quick update on what I know on the COVID-19. There may be some people on the call that have some additional information, and you're welcome to supply that. But at this point, we're shut down by USA Rugby from any participation in any rugby at all. There is, I don't have a date on when they're going to lift that shutdown order. I do know that the clubs generally are planning on a fall season, which typically is a late summer start to the fall season. The sevens are planning, they're doing some forward planning. That includes a summer season, as long as the ban is lifted by USA Rugby to fully participate. So, and I understand they have kind of a staggered schedule depending on when that ban is lifted. So the sevens folks are hoping that there will be a competition cycle this summer. So more to come on that, but at this point they are planning for summer activities if the ban is lifted. Rugby Colorado has canceled the high school boys season. They're hoping to do some sevens as well locally, tournaments during the summer. like they've typically done. And they are planning on a high school girls season in the fall, a 7 season. So that's kind of the update on the local scene. Gil, I know you were on a call, I guess, talking about the sevens. Any update on some of the sevens activities tentatively in the Denver area for this summer?
Just what you said, wait and see.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Rugby Town is planning on going up, but that's about it.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Gil, Rugby Town is what?
Rugby Town is on as of right now.
Okay, and that's typically the second or third week in August. Yeah.
Correct.
So, yeah. Okay. Good.
Mark, there's a question. Is the Rocky Mountain Challenge canceled, or is it on or off? Do we know yet?
I'm sorry, Paul, I missed that. Can you say that again?
Yeah, the Rocky Mountain Challenge, the high school tournament, is that on or off yet? Do we know?
That normally takes place the weekend of Father's Day, so early June. I've not heard formally it is off. They were debating on canceling it due to basically lack of support and costs, even before the COVID-19 hit. So I'll follow up on that. Personally, so I'd be shocked if it went off. So, but we'll find out about that. So, okay. All right. The important thing during this downtime is obviously one, to stay in shape, to stay up with what's going on with in the rugby community. Take advantage of all the learning opportunities that are available to us. And again, we've sent out a number of notes encouraging folks to participate in the advantage training. And if you have not signed up for that, I would encourage you to do it. The next one is Wednesday. And the first one was outstanding. I know Mark's going to hit on some of that material that was shared on a week ago, last Wednesday, so nearly 2 weeks ago. So if you do get a chance, please register for that. If you miss it, you won't be missed. No one's taken attendance, so as many of those you can get in would be great. So the other thing to be aware of during this downtime is that because the season and all rugby activities has been suspended, that we have no insurance. Our insurance is provided through our registrations via USA Rugby. And so we are not covered by insurance. So nor are the players out there during practices, or if they should do an impromptu scrimmage and so forth. So I would encourage you not to accept any invitations to referee during the downtime, just from a personal liability situation, in that you will not be covered by insurance if anything should happen. The society has taken the position, since we are a member of USA Rugby, that we will not coordinate or actively participate in any referee activities that would expose any of our members or the organization to liabilities without having insurance. So I just want to make everyone aware of that. And if you got any questions on that and you want to talk to me individually about that, I'd be glad to do that. But again, if you go out there and referee and something happens, there is no insurance. USA Rugby and Rocky Mountain Rugby have no responsibilities, and so you'll be on your own in that regard. So, wish it wasn't the case, but that's just the way it is. So any questions, guys, on the COVID-19 and where things stand and before I move on? Paul, are we all good?
Yes, the other some other answers have been posted into the group chat, so you can look there again.
Okay.
I just restated what you said.
Okay. All right. So the next item is just an update on the bankruptcy of USA Rugby. So first off, USA Rugby has not ceased to exist. It still exists as a operating entity during this time frame. They filed bankruptcy for financial reasons, and it is a financial reorganization. So this process is expected to conclude somewhere around the end of June. So about another 2 months, a little less than 2 months, and the reorganization process should be completed. And that is the normal norm. What we don't know yet is with, all these economic problems out there and other bankruptcies, if that's going to slow it down a little bit. But normally this would be concluded by the end of June with a financial reorganization. With that, USA Rugby had already started the process, and the components of USA Rugby, the board, the Congress, the committees, have already started the process of a reorganization, and that process is continuing. So when it comes out of financial bankruptcy, at that time or immediately following that, there'll be a reorganization of USA Rugby from a governance and an organization. They expect that will include more community involvement at the board level, that USA Rugby's focus will be on national teams, infrastructure, and tooling, providing tools to the regions and the various organizations that make up USA Rugby, including ourselves. And that at least as it stands right now, the focus is on how do we push greater responsibility and larger self-governance down to the regional and the local levels, so which would include to ourselves. So that's kind of the focus on the reorganization. I know many of you have been involved with discussions along that line, and please jump in if you've got other information than that. And I'm basing this on some material I received last week, and on a meeting that we had about the referees and what the referees will look like going forward. So as part of that process, what's kind of be expected right now is the referees' interest will be represented through a standing committee in a committee structure within USA Rugby. So there'll be various committees within USA Rugby, and there will be a committee for referees, is what's anticipated. A little bit different is that the referees will have a direct path to the board of directors and the CEO of USA Rugby that they don't have today. So the standing committee, I don't have a name for it. And in fact, I'll talk about it here in a second. Not a lot of details about it, but it would be a replacement for the referees and laws committee, or the R&L committee that exists today. So, so what does that committee look like, or what will that committee look like? We really don't know. So we, within Rocky Mountain Rugby, with the assistance of other members of the executive committee, myself and Mark Nelson and Gilligan, are actually working with former members of the R&L, or arguably they're still members because it really hasn't been dissolved yet, and the other LROs and referee organizations around the country, and providing our input into what should the role of a referee organization be, and secondly, what would that role be if we were part of USA Rugby? And because there's really two thoughts out there right now, is that that one, that well, we're all unified on the thought that there should be a organization representing the referees, and that organization should be independent from other organizations either within USA Rugby or in and of itself should be a totally separate organization from USA Rugby. So that decision has not been made. What the local LROs and the geographic folks and other interested parties have been asked about is forming a standing committee that would provide guidance to the referees, organizations about what that committee or what that organization should do. So the local LROs are voting on representation on that committee. Both Gilligan and myself tentatively have been identified to participate in that ad hoc committee that's going to help put that organization together for the nationwide rugby organization going forward. Mark Nelson is also very actively involved with this process as well, and will continue to participate as this is developed. So that committee, that ad hoc committee, is basically been tasked over the next 3 months to figure out what the referees will want in a national organization. Again, with an eye toward should it be under USA Rugby or should it be independent. That'll be decided later. But that these are the functions of that committee. These are the resources that are needed to effectively manage the referee organization. So that is ongoing. That ad hoc committee again should be decided on in the next week or so. And then meetings will start immediately after that. If you would like to have input in what that committee should do, or what functions you think that committee should include in a referee organization, or even how it should be organized, we would love to have it. Jim, I see your picture up there, Jim Russell. I know you've been involved with you were a former chairman of the RNL. You have a lot of experience and thoughts on this. We would love to have your input as we go through this process. If there's others out there, again, Mark's going to be heavily involved as well, that would like to raise their hand, would like to share your thoughts with us so we can make sure we represent those as well as we go through this process, please let us know. So I'll stop there. Paul, see if we have any questions in the chat room.
No, just a comment I think you stated as well, but Jim Russell commented that USA Rugby has a new board with mostly new people trying to just work on leading the organization out of bankruptcy. You touched upon that already, so that's about it. There were some jokes about my headgear you can't see, Mark, and then but I guess if you're finished, I think Rick was gonna give us an update on Gary. Is that right, Rick?
Yeah. Fortunately, there's nothing.
Hey, Rick, I'm sorry to interrupt here. Mark, as I told you, I've got a 7:30 call with Asia, so I've got 8 minutes to do all the coaching stuff,
Okay.
and then jump over there for Rick. I'm sorry, man. I've got to go after this.
No worries.
There is a new coaching form that is coming out, hopefully simplified both for use and explanation. Should have kind of the details for what should a level, 8, 9, 10, whatever the numbers end up being, probably 1 through 10. What should they be working on? Were they able to meet it? Did they show competence? It'll actually have the ability to take a look at that. We're working on getting the competencies up on the website, as well as being able to then go ahead and review the new form. With that, what we'd also like to be able to do is get everyone who is interested in coaching, whether you've done the CMO before or not, whether you have thought about just coaching informally, peer-to-peer, any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, Mark, you can, if you want to keep that up, that'd be great. Whether you want to go peer-to-peer.
That's the old one. I got to find the new one.
Oh, got you. Thanks. Just, if you're the A-side referee, there's a B-side ref. Try to make it as simple as possible, get as many people involved in coaching as possible, and really just make sure that everybody's getting an opportunity both to learn, to share their knowledge, and then for those of us who are coaches, actually to learn different perspectives, different learning styles, and different ways that folks understand how they're doing. So really what can I turn it, not just from a referee society, but a refereeing and coaching society, whether it's formal or informal. So after we get this all finalized, put up on the website and everything, what we want to be able to then do is have a conference call, and I'd send out a note to the formal referees, Jim, Mike, Josette, and some other folks who I knew had taken the CMO and have done this for a while, and really ask them to re-envision what they think coaching would look like. Interesting feedback that I received on that. And so that's also going to be one of the things that I want to make sure that we get from the folks who would be that next generation of coaches. So, what do you want to see coming out of coaching? How would you like it to be, not necessarily formatted as far as like on a website, but rather what do you learn best from? How can we help meet your coaching needs and things like that? And you're very welcome to send that to me at ops@rockymountrugbyrefs.com. You don't have to be on the conference call. Feel free to send me your thoughts and let me know what you're thinking about it. With that, 4 minutes to answer any questions that anybody might have. And if not, cool. Back over to you, Rick. Thanks again. Apologize for interrupting.
Before we leave that real quick, just a couple things on it. Mark's going through the form, and you could see it's a checklist. You just go through, then there'll be some commentary associated with this as well. We listen to the coaching community and to the referees when you said you really didn't want to use Advantage for all of our coaching and in advancement criteria. So we developed this independent form to do that. Having said that, for those that have aspirations to participate on more than a local basis, and you're going to be in our high performance coaching pool or referee pool, that it is an imperative that you use Advantage to get the exposure that's necessary to, again, advance out of just our local region and have opportunities to do games outside of Colorado. So we will still use Advantage. The use of Advantage is primarily associated with those in the high performance. However, if you do get video, we do have coaches that are trained in Advantage, and we would encourage you to review the video in Advantage and seek coaching help from those that are competent in the use of Advantage from a coaching perspective. So we're really going to have two different tools available to us, depending on what your goals are, what your ambitions are. Depends on what your level at a coach is, on whether or not you can be a coach with not having to be tied to Advantage. You can just be a local community coach and use the form and provide your feedback that way. So again, we tried to listen to the membership, try to come up with something that incorporated the best of both systems, a local system and a national system, and hopefully we've done that. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Dan, for any last comments before you run off.
No last comments.
Okay.
One quick thing regarding that forum, we are looking at possibly hosting that on RefUp as well. So working with Steve to see what that would look like, and hopefully it'll be like RefUp will be all one-stop shopping for everything you need admin.
Okay. All right, thanks, Dan. Rick, do you want to give us an update on Gary?
Yeah, sure. Last news from the family was yesterday, and he's making small improvements, baby steps, I think they called it. Still on a ventilator. They backed off the some of the sedation drugs, trying to get his lungs to do more of the work over the ventilator, which seems to be working so far. He's having some issues with his kidneys and now his liver, which apparently is somewhat part of the game. Yeah, he's still got a long way to go, but you know, the doctors keep reminding the family that people do recover from here. So yeah, we've raised an incredible amount of money. So a week from tomorrow, we'll be delivering over 225 meals, I think, to the hospital. They sounded super happy to have them. So great job, everybody. So yeah, that's really it right now. It's just he needs to get stronger.
And Rick, thanks to you for organizing everything and keeping us all informed on Gary.
I mean, it's all I did was set up the website. It's kind of crazy how many people he's touched. Obviously, how many groups of people. There's some of the names on the donation list are hilarious. They have to be roller derby because it's fantastic. Some of the names. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Rick.
On Wheels contributed like $50. So.
Hey, Rick, how much money has been raised?
2,700.
Awesome. It's really awesome.
Okay. All right, Mark. With that, do you want to take us through the form a little bit, the new coaching form, and then we'll turn over the rest of the meeting to your items on the agenda?
Well, I just, while you guys were speaking, I just typed a form, basically filled it out with some fictitious stuff. If you have any more questions, I mean, hopefully all those who are interested in coaching, we'll get with Dan and we'll have like a better tutorial, but this is basically a simpler form. And like I said, we don't need you to get any of the referees we have ready for the World Cup. We just need them to get 1% better. And I think this form makes it simpler and aligns with the match levels we are now kind of putting people in buckets on. And then they'll also align with the competencies that both Richard has set out and that we have been using for the last couple of years. So the big takeaway for me for using that form is referee development is still on the referee, and it's really kind of up to you to talk about SMART goals. And I'm sure you've all heard me talk about SMART goals in the past, but we're going to do a little bit of an exercise here. So I kind of went through the competencies and in conjunction with Rick and Karen, we basically broke down not all of Richard's 40 competencies, but basically we wanted to give everyone some attainable goals and make it really easy to get promoted within the society. Because ideally we would love to have everyone at level 4 instead of everyone at level 9 and 7. So basically, and we're going to try and get this PDF put up on the website under development, but basically kind of like these are the areas you should, as if you're a level 9 referee, these are the areas that we would like you to be focusing on. And then if you attain these goals on a consistent basis, and that'll be evident through the coaching report on the form you get, then we'll move you up to level 8. And et cetera, et cetera. So basically there's, kind of 4 goals here and then there's 4 at 8, 4 at 7, they get a little bit harder here. And some competence here at 6 and then 5 and then 4. And really when you're at level 5 and 4, these are ideas for you to work on, but hopefully we'll be getting you mostly all of your reports in advantage. So does anyone not know what the acronym SMART stands for in a SMART goal? Put it in the chat, raise your hand, speak up. Well, we will go over that anyway, and I'll send out a little video of how to kind of attain them. But basically, the S is for specific. So this would be like a competency I'm going to work on. And dangerous play, let's take a look at that. So it needs to be, I need to create a specific goal that's measurable, that's attainable or actionable, and it's relative to dangerous play and in a timely manner for my game. So let's pick on someone here. Sundance, can you create a SMART goal for dangerous play in a match coming up?
I can't at the moment. Sorry, I've got to deal with something here. Sorry, I'm half listening.
All right, Joe Burpo.
What was the topic that you wanted a SMART goal for?
Dangerous play, identifying all areas of dangerous play.
In the first 15 minutes, penalize all dangerously high tackle immediately. Don't play advantage.
Okay. So we have a time in this in the first 15 minutes. We have action item. It's you're going to penalize all dangerous play and not play advantage off anything. And is it specific? Yeah. All it's a high tackle. And is it relative to the dangerous play? Yes, because a high tackle is foul play and foul play is dangerous play. Would anybody like to? So that's something a coach can look at with Joe for the first 15 minutes and then tick a box if he has a high tackle. And if he plays advantage of it, he didn't attain that box. And if he did, you can write that tick down and you can go, Joe, you've had 3 high tackles in 15 minutes. You didn't play advantage, you did a good job. And then the next game, maybe you could do that for 30 minutes or for the second 15 minutes of the second half. Or maybe you could incorporate high tackles and like more foul play, like shouldering or obstruction, or you can expand upon it as he progresses, right? And then in the coaching report, we'll have an area like identified all aspects of this competency for about 80% of the game. So a lot of them are a little bit difficult to do. But the most important piece is really like give something that's attainable. To not play advantage off any foul play for the entire match, or to catch all foul play in an entire match, or do everything 100% of the time is not really attainable. So just do yourself in little successes, right? And just get a little bit better the next week. So that's kind of basically like what we've done for development. And then we wanted to talk to, let's see if we want to do another one. How about Katie? Katie, can you try and give me a SMART goal for, let's see, you're a level 7 now, tackler and tackle assist. So there's a competency.
Mm-hmm. So let's say the first half of the game, the referee will identify and communicate with the team, like, let's go with 75%. Well, sorry.
It's all right.
Measurable is the one that always gets me. At the breakdown, so especially during the first half, at the breakdown, the referee will communicate with teams so that the tackler releases immediately. Otherwise, the referee will penalize.
Okay, that's a good goal. the first half of the game is 40 minutes. So there's roughly about 264 breakdowns in a match. Cutting that in half gives you about 130. So that's pretty tough. Maybe you cut that down to maybe the first 5 minutes, because you do want to set a standard with the tackler and tackle assist, right? And maybe we would shave that down into like, I'm not going to communicate at all. I'm just going to set a standard. You either release, because it's not my job to tell you to release. You should know that, or I will penalize you. And then that way, that will be your communication by just setting a higher standard. So again, like this isn't something that we're all familiar with. And ideally, over time, like with Karen and Rick and myself kind of looking over these coaching forums, we can then go back and work with you and work with SMART goals. And like I said, if you guys ever have any questions with this stuff, my email is always open, and you can always contact Rick and Karen as well. But thanks for that little practice. Does anybody have any questions on any of this so far? Okay. Moving on. I forgot all of the agenda. I think we wanted to talk a little bit about the advantage training. We have a question in the chat. Yeah, no worries. Another thing we wanted to talk about, we were toying a little bit about when we rolled out the pink and blue jerseys. That was the November or the fall kind of referee kit. And hopefully I don't have anyone's jersey anymore. But we said every 6 months, we're going to try and roll out a new thing, a kit. And this year, even though we haven't had a season, I'm still going to do it. So, sorry, it's got to find the right form. Is that it? No. Is that it? No. Sorry. Where did it go? Anyway, so some of the newer referees that have joined recently don't have that OGO kit bag, and I'm making that available. Not on the store because it's a custom item, but basically I'm gonna find the form really quickly. Sorry, give me 1 second.
So we're finding that, Mark, people have suggested we get Rocky Mountain Rugby face masks. So maybe we can put out a self-tutorial video for those old kit jerseys that we don't wear anymore. You can take the Urfu patch, and you can put that right over your face and cut out your old jersey that way, right?
Yeah, very nice. All right, I found it. So I'm going to send out this form to the group, and it's pretty easy. Basically, if you want a kit bag, you will just go to this link down here, and the kit bag is $75 and $15 for shipping. And then this is what it'll look like, and it'll have, you can put your full name there, I guess. And then underneath it will say Rocky Mountain Rugby Referee. And then just type in the name you want on there, your shipping address, and then go to this link here at the apparel, maapparel.com, make a payment. And make sure you reference this order number 77449. And when we get 10 people that have ordered it, I will send the form to Leah, and she will get them made up and sent out to you. So I don't know whether or not you can get your kit stipend this year, because obviously we haven't been doing much. So maybe, and Steve Gore, we will never get camping chairs. But maybe, you can do it over the summer if we get back to rugby, or if you just wanted a kit bag, here they are for $90. And I'll send this link out as well. And I believe that is it. Paul, what was on the agenda? Is that it?
So the other thing was the World Rugby clarifications, the videos.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so instead of, so this this link right here, which I'll send out in the form as well, is where you can see basically the Advantage referees online learning. And Richard went over and covered those pretty in depth right here, and he cut the videos to it. So you can just click on this link right here and watch that call, or if we wanted to, I don't have that link up. Sorry about that. Does anyone have any questions on the on any of the new guidelines, I guess you would call it?
I don't have a question. My observation is that they haven't changed law. They just want the existing law to be enforced very rigidly and very fast to make the ball available.
Yeah, I think that the most interesting points on the takeaway on that is that changes kind of how we referee the breakdown a little bit in some of the management. So there used to be a time where as part of like the jackal or the poacher would get in and get his hands on the ball, but then would get cleaned out or rucked out immediately. And kind of like he would get up and scream, "Ah, not releasing, sir!" And then we would ultimately say, "Hey, you need to survive. If you survive and stay strong, I'll reward you." And that was a good counteraction to him complaining about not releasing. And they've kind of taken that away. So surviving the clean out is really no longer a thing that World Rugby wants the referees to say. So if he got in there and he beat the ruck and he's on his feet and he's obviously through the gate and released clearly, and he has hands on the ball, in possession of the ball, or in a good position to pick up that ball and doesn't get it, we're looking for that turnover. And then another takeaway from that is attacking side entry is going to be really looked at with more scrutiny. So because an attacking player gets up off their feet, if it's a negative tackle, they're immediately seeing that threat and they're just going after to remove that threat. And if we're doing that, we are kind of going back to an official gate and making sure that attacking entry player, attacking other player would be, has to come in through that gate to remove him legally. But that video that kind of Richard put together, it's about an hour long, and it covers all kinds of stuff. But the guidelines and standards are up first, and then there's some really good stuff about positioning, and it's a really informational video. So take 15 minutes out of your day, watch 15 minutes, go another 15 minutes. Next day, that's a little SMART goal you set for yourself. And then I really suggest you register for the upcoming thing, because they're every other Wednesday. And this weekend he has a special guest talking about the scrum. So any other comments or questions on that?
Yeah, Jim, what's your question about mitts or gloves?
I was just joking. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right. Mark, back over to you.
Okay. All right. Thanks. That's really all we had. Again, I would encourage folks to sign up for that Advantage training. I would also encourage to watch the first one. And Jim, you're absolutely right. It's really more of a reinforcement around the ruck, what we should call. But it also, I thought he did a fantastic job talking about the positioning at the ruck, where we should be and what the options are and why we should be at that 45. And I thought that was as equally as important for coaches. So as coaches level set, and we get more coaches out there and providing feedback to our referees, that we also need to know what's the latest philosophies and thoughts out there as far as what the refs should be doing, so we as coaches can make them better. So anyway, again, can't encourage that more. Go back and look at the one from 2 weeks ago. Please sign up and participate on this training. So that's all we have on the formal portion. Love to open it up for questions from the whole group. I know we're not a shy organization, and we didn't try to overwhelm you with a whole bunch of stuff today. But I'd be glad to open it up, see if anyone's got any questions. I've got any law questions they want to raise to the group over the next few minutes.
I know we can't predict that far out, but I hope that they lift restrictions such that sort of as a coming together, we can have a summer social.
Actually, Chuff had a pretty good idea about a summer social. Chuff, are you still on?
Yes, I am.
Chuff wanted to do Hunger Games up in his little.
Oh God.
No, go ahead and talk about your idea.
So the facility I work at is 240 acres, and we have 12 different ponds on the facility, as well as an archery range and a 22 rifle range. And so the thought is to maybe find a day to come up and have an afternoon where we can go either fish or shoot archery or.
Why don't we just hunt each other for real?
That's a Hunger Games.
I thought we decided on something like pottery painting or absolutely no contact risk at all.
She's got a vested reason to ask that question. So.
We thought you would want to seek revenge on Claire. Yes.
Ooh, looking good.
I think a nice 22 gunshot wound to the other shoulder would match that scar. Would be nice.
No.
Yeah, we'll look at something for a summer social. Hopefully we could maybe put it around Rugby Town, and I'll be involved around there. I know, and this is very early in the works, that if we can get Rugby Town pulled off, we will be offering hopefully another referee development camp. So last year Glendale was pretty nice and to sponsor that and make it free. So yeah, it looks like we can maybe do that again, and that would be great for those who won't be kind of involved in the process. So yeah, maybe do something along that. Very preliminary. Hopefully I can pull it off.
Any questions, comments, guys?
For the record, Chuff, I think that's a great idea. I'd love to go up and do some team fishing or something like that. Archery.
Can we fish with dynamite?
Assuming that everything's all COVID free at that point.
And Brian will bring his kids, so they're very good for fishing.
They keep the fish real close by. They're like, oh, what is all that noise? It's so sweet.
We put him on the other side of the lake, scare him all into the fishing line.
We can just put Emily in one of those inflatable bubble things, so she can just kind of roll around and be safe.
Yes.
I actually think that's a really great idea. I've done that for soccer. Willing to give it a try on a lake. F you.
All right. Any other comments, questions, guys?
Yeah, I got one. Is Chuff now a firefighter
Why? Because of the mustache?
or involved in adult entertainment in any way? Otherwise, I'm not okay with it.
Oh.
He's going to jump on Movember.
Maybe it's just mustache season.
Not okay with it.
He actually uses the hair he shaves off to tie flies with it, and it's really good for catching trout.
He thinks he's Brad Pitt.
Actually, I have a good authority that his father used to have a mustache like that in his younger days, and he's just
Bring that
aspiring
back.
to be like his father.
Bring it back.
Pictures.
Chuff,
Start a
pictures.
GoFundMe account now for Mark Huff's mustache.
Pictures.
Find a picture and post it.
There's no photo. It didn't happen.
Okay, guys. So to wrap it up, we're going to put a bunch of stuff, circulate the links to the various items we talked about today. There's more information coming out for coaches. And if we would encourage anyone that has any interest in coaching, we would love, no matter whether you've been to training yet or not, we'd love to get you involved. And it's one of those things that you can referee and coach both. And there's a number of us that still do that. And so please consider that when you see more information coming out about that, and a call for coaches and a separate coaches training session around, expectations for coaches, styles, and level setting. So we're all coaching to the same thing going forward. So encourage you to participate in that. If you haven't done so and you feel like making a donation to Gary's GoFundMe to provide meals to the hospital where he's in intensive care, that's still open, right, Rick, to do that?
Yes, it is. In fact, we're thinking it might actually be 2 different deliveries just so the hospital can logistically absorb it. So yeah, by all means.
Okay. And the other thing, I want to thank Rick, and I want to thank Karen and Paul and Mark and Gilligan for all their work over these last few months. While we've been shut down, the executive committee's been working very hard on the coaching forms, the competencies, the pools for the referees, and then this administrative stuff associated with USA Rugby and so forth. So very much appreciate all the work those guys have done, even though we're not on the field blowing the whistle at this point. So thank you to everyone on the executive committee for their efforts. So, and with that, that's I think all we have. So one last call for last minute questions, and if not, we'll wrap up, and then we'll be in touch over the next month, and then we will plan on having an update and a call a month from now as well.
Hey, Rick, can you repost that GoFundMe? I can't find it.
It's in the chat, and it'll be sent out in the email, which you obviously didn't get because you had to. We'll make sure you get it, Jim.
Thank you.
But it's yeah.
Hey, Mark, this is Dale. Can you send out that the coaching list to, goals, or is that up someplace?
The competencies.
Competency, yes. Thank you.
Yep. Paul, I just sent you an email, but I'll have to send the recorded video to you as well. So I'll send you another one here in a little bit. Yep, that'll come out from Paul probably in a little bit after I load this call up on YouTube.
Thank you.
And also, as soon as we find out, Steve Gore, who has ability to edit the website, I'll post it on the website under development. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
You want which one are you?